Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sporting Perspective here on this Saturday morning. A lot of playoff to talk, a lot of playoff talk to talk about, and a lot of movement. So this is going to be our divisional weekend show and our national championship show. So we're going to start with the football, the NFL, and we're going to go to NCAA at the end. We're going to just go nicely in order. But we'll jump into some news before we do some picks. There are a lot of head coaching jobs available, nine, I believe, and the first domino fell a couple days ago. John Harbaugh looking like he's on his way to the New York Giants. What did you think of that, James?
Yeah, I guess it's technically, I guess it's not confirmed, but like you said, it's basically going to happen. I think it's a good move for him. I mean, he must obviously see something in that young core of Jackson Dart. Malik Neighbors will be back next year, which can shift Wandale Robinson to the two. I think Wandale Robinson's really good. I just don't think he's a one. He had good games, but benefiting off of Malik Neighbors, I think will be helpful. I'm a really big fan of Theo Johnson. Their line isn't terrible. I know their left tackle is, I can't think of his name, Andrew. I'm blanking on it, but they have some young pieces. Their defense is solid. A lot of good pass rushers. Definitely headlined by Brian Burns. Yeah, it's definitely a team that I guess John Harbaugh must have looked at and said, yeah, this team's young. They have talent, and maybe it's a team I can build up into a NFC East powerhouse, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, kind of just seeing how everything played out, it was for me. Harbaugh obviously was the name to get for all of these teams, and in my opinion, it probably came down to him or them, the Giants or Atlanta. Both having very young cores, but he probably just saw something a little bit more in the Giants and a division that is a little bit topsy turvy at times. So maybe he feels like he can win there. And I guess the other big news that happens since we last talked, Mike Tomlin, after 19 years of winning football, walks away from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think he's probably going to be in the TV world for a little bit here. But I don't think this is the end for Tomlin. I think we'll see him again, but just want to say the 19 years he spent in Pittsburgh, what a hell of a run.
Yeah, never being below 500 is insane. Yeah, I'm with you. It would be weird if he didn't coach again, but it also wouldn't surprise me. It's like you can be a legendary Pittsburgh coach with that crazy 19-year record of never being below 500. I think he will coach again, but if he is making money and kills it on the TV side and just decides never to go back, maybe like the previous Pittsburgh coach,
I was going to say Bill Cowher did that
Bill
exact
Cowher,
same
did the same
thing.
thing. Everyone thought he'd come back, and he's always rumored. Maybe not as much now, but for a period of time, he was always rumored as someone who could potentially go back into coaching and just never did. So I'm with you. I think he will go back, but it's not like certain.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, well, it's going to be fun to watch, especially here over these upcoming weeks. Eight jobs, more than likely, still to be filled, and we'll kind of see where they all land up leading up to the Super Bowl and I guess beyond. Without wasting any other time, I guess we'll just jump right on into today's games as we got four wonderful playoff games to watch over these next 2 days. And we'll just start off with the Bills taking on Denver in Denver. Denver obviously got the bye. Bills beat the Jacksonville Jaguars very impressively last weekend. Who do you have here?
It's not the sexy pick. I know it's probably not what people. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of Josh Allen fans out there, but the betting favorite is probably the Broncos in that defense. I just want to see Bo Nix and what he can do in the playoffs. I haven't seen it yet. Josh Allen seems like he always finds that way to will his team to victory, even without a number one receiver. So I'm going to go with the Bills and just see what this, Buffalo Magic can continue on doing in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we said it a while ago. If there is a year for the Bills to do it, this would be the year. My heart is actually with Buffalo on this one. I would love to see Buffalo win. We know Sean Payton's going to have this team prepared, though, so that's a little bit scary to me. I really want to take Buffalo. and I think I'm just going to take them just from the aspect if I really want them. I feel like Denver's probably going to win this game, but I'll take Buffalo because I really want to see them in the Super Bowl.
I just want to see Denver. Well, I don't want to see it because I'm picking the Bills to win, but Denver had so many lapses offensively, and I know defense wins championships, and they have the defense to win a championship, but you also got to score a little bit too, and
Yeah,
sometimes that offense just looks so inept. And
yeah,
I mean, like we've talked about all season, and basically all of Josh Allen's career, the guy just finds ways to win. He hasn't obviously won a Super Bowl yet, but yeah, I mean, if there's a year to do it, you got to beat Bo Nix and then possibly Drake May, if not then C.J. Stroud. So he's got a good shot to get to the Super Bowl.
100%. All right, so let's go to today's late game. San Francisco heading to Seattle. Seattle's news: Sam Darnold, oblique injury. I guess he hasn't thrown a ball since Thursday. Kind of scary there. San Francisco took down Philadelphia. Very exciting game there. Um, it's a real toss up here. Who do you have here?
I'm taking the Niners. They seem to just win regardless of injuries. I mean, they lost Kittle last week, which sucks, to an Achilles injury. Never like to see that, but McCaffrey's still a beast. Purdy is playing like an elite quarterback. You know, Seattle to me, they're a lot like the Broncos. Obviously, their quarterback situation, he's a little bit more seasoned. He's played in the playoffs, but I mean, it is Sam Darnold. We've seen him have a, you know, even just last year, have a hell of a season with the Vikings and then just collapse in the playoffs. And I'm kind of looking at some of these buys almost like the buys in the college football playoff. Some of these teams who played last week, I think will just be more ready. I know during the season when you have a bye, a lot of those teams come out of the bye prepared, but the playoffs are it's a different animal, and I I need to see Sam Darnold do it in the playoffs, and I haven't. So I'm taking McCaffrey, and I'm taking that interesting receiving core that's missing Brandon Ayuk, which that's a whole weird story. But I mean, I don't know. San Fran's just getting it done. Their defense isn't great, but I think they can score enough to win.
Yeah, going back to the buy thing, what you were saying, I think the buy thing is great for older teams that are need that need that week to kind of heal up and stuff like that. It's not good for young teams, and Denver and Seattle are both fairly young. So I think they want that momentum going into the playoffs more than anything else, and kind of breaks up the momentum more than anything. This is a real toss-up game for me. I love Seattle's defense, but it really scares me on who's going to score. I guess it could look like that Week 18 game that we saw in San Francisco, where it was like 17-3. I mean, that could very well happen. But I'm kind of with you. San Francisco just finds a way to win. It's going to be a very fascinating game to watch with San Francisco's offense, Seattle's defense, two masterminds in their own trades there. I'm really at a toss-up, but I'm going to edge out San Francisco. I wish they had George Kittle and make me feel a little bit better about the pick. But they just took down the champions, and you know, Seattle, I just don't know how they're going to score. So, well, let's move over to Sunday's games. The early game, Houston heading to New England. New England took down, my goodness, I'm not even remembering the Chargers. They actually destroyed them. Not very exciting game in that one. And Houston took down Pittsburgh on the Monday night game. Who do you got here?
I'm taking the Patriots because I think we saw the worst performance out of Drake May, and like you said, they still pretty much handled the Chargers easily. And on it, I don't see Drake May playing that poorly again. And if he just elevates his game a little bit, I know that Texans defense is the best in the NFL, but I don't know where the Texans are going to get their offense from. Stroud is not rookie of the year Stroud like he is. I know Christian Kirk had a really good game, but again, they're just one of those offenses that kind of they go up and down, and I feel like they had their high last week and now they're going to be on their down. And I know I'm kind of contradicting myself by saying Drake May's never done this in the playoffs. He's a new quarterback to the playoffs, but I think this Patriots team is just built exactly like Mike Vrabel is wired, and I think they're going to get it done.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Patriots win this one. I love the Houston defense. Don't get me wrong, but I think that in New England has to play just a pretty conservative game. C.J. Stroud has been just very bad as of recent. I saw something that in C.J. Stroud's three playoff wins, his defense, has five touchdowns. So I mean, when they win, it's not him that's doing it; it's just the defense. I do expect this to be low scoring. I do expect this to be kind of an ugly, boring-ish watch of the four games. Um, but I'm going to take New England. I just don't think it's going to look very pretty in the end. Let's go to the late game. The game that I think is actually probably one of the best. Actually, I think it's the best on the slate. The Rams heading to Chicago.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, like you said, probably the best game of the day. Caleb Williams has taken a step forward, something we were not talking about at the beginning of this season. We were talking about, I think we had a discussion about, is Caleb Williams really the guy in Chicago? Is he going to have a job? And now I think we don't need to really talk about that anymore. He's definitely the franchise quarterback for that team. Another key guy is Colston Loveland. Just had a ridiculous game last week. With all that being said, though, I can't pick the Bears. Caleb is the comeback kid. He seems to just always make magic happen in the fourth quarter. But the Rams are different. They are really good offensively and really good defensively. And Stafford and Adams and Nakua, they know what they need to do to win. So I might be rooting for the Bears, but I'm just going to give the edge to the Rams. I think that team is just really well put together, and overall, I think honestly I think they're minus the Seahawks. If Sam Darnold's playing well, I think the Rams are the best team in this final 8 teams.
Yep. Yeah, the Rams were my pick around Thanksgiving. I think that's when I made that declaration. I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to take the Rams to win this one. Caleb Williams might throw for 400 yards, though. The Rams' corners are not very good. So he may throw all over the place, but I feel like the Rams are just deep everywhere except for corner. So many offensive weapons, really good up front, can beat you so many ways. And I get Chicago had that great comeback against Green Bay. Green Bay has a lot of problems, I guess, a lot of holes that you can expose, and that's what
LaFleur
Chicago.
just can't win the big game.
And there's that too. They exposed them and stuff like that. I just don't see McVay having that happen to him. So I'm going to take the Rams. It's going to be a good game, though. Well, let's close the book on the NFL for right now. Let's head over to college. And before we talk about the national championship, we got a lot of movement going on with the transfer portal. I think officially it was 3,800 players put themselves in the portal, which
Good
is an
God.
insane number. Um, yeah. So, kind of the highlights. Sam Levitt finally picks a place. He goes to LSU. We're going to just talk about a couple just highlights. We can't talk about everyone. Then, what did you think about Sam Levitt going from ASU to LSU?
It's just screaming Jaden Daniels all over again.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think Sam Levitt's as good as Jaden Daniels. I mean, he's the same type of quarterback. He can run. He's got a decent arm. I think Jaden Daniels overall, obviously, is a better player. But I mean, who knows? Maybe Sam Levitt goes to LSU, crushes it, and next year is a top 4, top 3 quarterback drafted. I don't know. Um, but yeah, to me, it just screams Jaden Daniels. Watch him be on Heisman watch too next year.
I believe it. And, a couple of the other big things that came out, Dante Moore returning, that wasn't too big of a surprise for me. I mean, you got a lot of movement. And the thing for me that's really changed the landscape of college football is this transfer portal has really destroyed any interest in, like, the high school recruiting game for me. I mean, it's just like, who
Yeah.
cares? I mean, so many guys that were, top 100 guys last year coming in from high school have now already switched teams and everything going around. And um, yeah, I we just never know. I guess at this point, I don't live and die off of it too much. I don't know what to say. So,
Well, here I'll transition it into the national championship game. You look at these two teams. You got Mendoza transfer from Cal.
yep,
You have Carson Beck transfer from Georgia, and then a majority of that Indiana, the rest of that team. You know, Kugler, the center, Notre Dame, and then it's a ton of James Madison and Kent State guys who came. Well, obviously the James Madison guys came over with Signetti, and just a ton of college veterans, we'll say juniors and seniors, who don't care about themselves individually. They just want to win, and it's showing.
yeah. Well, I saw a stat that Indiana is going to have, once this national championship happens, they'll have 47 guys that are aged or that are over the age of 22.
Wow.
So, which is crazy. When it was like right next to it, it was like what there was 120 NFL guys this year that were 21 years old.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, so it's I mean their whole roster is just a bunch of old guys,
Yeah.
and apparently it ranges all the way up to I think their oldest guy's 26. So, which that happens these days. Uh, well, we'll jump right into the national championship. Indiana obviously destroyed Oregon. Miami in a nail biter took down Ole Miss. Who do you got in this game? Is it going to be competitive? What is your belief?
I think it will be. I think Miami's defense is definitely real. Carson Beck is actually looking halfway decent. Malachi Tony, he's definitely a weapon. Don't get me wrong. I think Indiana wins the game, but I think it being in Miami, and it's a literally a home game for Miami, has to help, right? I mean, Indiana, their fan base is absolutely insane. They're gonna have plenty of fans at the game. They're. I was talking to my mom, being an Indiana grad, and she was talking about how I think they're the biggest fan base in all of college football, basketball, just kind of NCAA in general. Like those fans are ravenous. They travel everywhere. So will it be a split crowd? I'm not sure. You'd think there'd be more Miami fans with it being in Miami. However, Mendoza's from Miami, so will there be some people from Miami who aren't necessarily Miami fans, but they like Mendoza, so they're going to cheer for Indiana? Probably, I guess. I don't know. But it's hard to not pick Indiana. They just seem like the team of destiny. Like Signetti said, it'd be one hell of a movie. My heart's kind of with Indiana because I don't not like Miami. I I liked some of those '90s, old school Miami teams. Nothing against them, but I just think it'd be such a cool story for Signetti and Mendoza and the rest of that Indiana team to just do something that literally has never been done before. To win a national championship as the losingest football team in the college football history and just get a program turned around in 2 years is like absolutely unheard of.
Yeah. I'm not going to say this is going to be like the Georgia TCU national championship from like 2, 3 years ago. That was like 66-3. But I think this is going to feel, I think it's going to be ugly. I don't think they're going to win by 60. But I think we'll know by halftime of like, this game's over. I think Indiana's they're just built way better. Um, I think Miami can come in all types prepared and everything like that. I think Indiana wins by 20 plus. I just don't think I don't think anyone can play with them this year. So
Their defense is insane. It seems like they're guaranteed to have a fumble recovery for a touchdown or a pick six like every game.
every game and they just move up and down the field on offense so effortlessly. Um, I was listening to the radio as I was driving around, everything like that, after the Oregon Indiana game, and the guy was talking on the radio, and he was almost like he was watching it happen. And our mind has like come to like with social media and stuff like that, where you see a video that doesn't seem believable, you're like, oh, it's AI. It was like at times during the Oregon game, it felt like, oh wow, I'm watching AI. This doesn't seem believable because
Right.
everything was just too perfect. And it's just like if they play it that way, they played like that so much of the season. Um, they just can't be beat. I mean, literally, Mendoza's throws are so perfect that you can play a perfect defense and it doesn't matter.
Right. Well, I'll leave with this. This will be the last thing I say. I did the simulation, had Indiana winning 35-21.
Good. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's a good end of the season for Indiana and Mendoza somehow turns around the Raiders in Vegas. Perfect fit, by the way.
What I wonder is that why Dante Moore is coming back. Maybe he didn't want to go to the Jets.
Didn't want to go to the Jets. Also, it came out yesterday, $7.5 million from Oregon.
Interesting. Oh, well, speaking of Oregon, I'll say one more thing. I'm pretty sure Dylan Raiola committed to Oregon.
So they're going to do the same thing. That remember
He's
when
going to sit.
So Gabriel came, Moore came. It's the same thing. Raiola's already said that. All right, I'm prepared to sit and I'm going to learn behind
Dante
um,
Moore.
Dante Moore, a whole thing like that. He's also coming off of an injury, so I think he's going to have surgery now, which doesn't put any pressure on him to play. So,
Gotcha.
but it's kind of like a prepare for. It was funny when that happened. We had like three other quarterbacks that were all high recruits. They all filled it, and I was like, yeah, well, we saw that come. So one
Right.
went to Georgia, one went to Bowling Green. I think one is still in there.
I
Um,
thought Levitt, honestly, I thought Levitt being from Oregon would potentially be someone. This is before Dante Moore announced he's coming back. I thought if Moore would go, Levitt could have potentially been someone to go to
well,
Oregon. But
Levitt was originally a recruit by Oregon. Remember, and then when Dillingham went to ASU, he went with them,
yep,
and
yeah, he left for
it was
Oregon.
kind of that log jam of quarterbacks at that point too, with I think Bo Nix and everything
Hmm.
going on. So he was like, I'm going to ASU.
Yeah, because he was at Michigan State, right? Transferred to.
I think that's right, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah. So all
cool.
right. Well, I don't think we got anything else to talk about. Football all weekend, national championship on Monday. Guys, have a wonderful Martin Luther King weekend, 3 day weekend. Gotta love it.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I got nothing else to say.
I'm good on my end.
All right, we'll sign off. See you next week, guys.